Ever wondered where Halloween with its spooky costumes and sweet treats originated? Well, let's wind back the hands of time to about 2,000 years ago, to the Celtic people of Europe. They marked the end of the harvest and the start of a new year with a festival called Samhain. This wasn't just any old New Year's party, though. The Celts believed that the veil between the living and the dead was at its thinnest during Samhain, allowing them to commune more easily with the departed. To keep any ill-intentioned spirits at bay, they'd light massive bonfires. And those eerie Halloween costumes we don today? They might just have their roots in this ancient Celtic festival. Villagers would attend the bonfire ceremonies decked out in animal heads and skins, a sight that would surely send shivers down your spine. Now let's talk about bats, a classic Halloween symbol. The Celtic Samhain bonfires drew not just spirits but also bugs, which in turn attracted bats. Over time, bats became intertwined with death and doom in various folklore. For instance, in Nova Scotian mythology, a bat settling in a house was seen as a sign that a male family member would meet his untimely end. If the bat flew around and tried to escape, it was the woman of the house who was in danger. Chilling, isn't it? Despite these eerie associations, the Celts saw the spiritual activity during Samhain as a boon. They believed it made it easier for their priests, or druids, to predict the future. To appease the deities and seek their guidance, they'd make sacrifices to the bonfires, offering up crops and animals. So the roots of Halloween lie deep in Celtic traditions and rituals, a fascinating blend of harvest celebrations and spiritual communions. From bonfires and animal costumes to bats and prophecies, the ancient origins of Halloween are as intriguing as they are eerie. Next time you don a costume or carve a pumpkin, remember that you're partaking in a tradition that's been around for millennia. But the Romans and Christians brought their own twist to this ancient festival, didn't they? When the Romans conquered Celtic territory around 43 AD, they introduced their own fall festivals. One such celebration was Feralia, a day in late October when Romans traditionally commemorated the passing of the dead. Another was a holiday called Pomona, dedicated to the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. You might see the influence of Pomona today when you're bobbing for apples at a Halloween party. Fast forward a few centuries and enter the Christians. They weren't too keen on these pagan holidays and sought to replace them with their own observances. By 1000 AD, All Souls' Day was established on November 2nd. This day served as a time for the living to pray for the souls of the departed. And then there was All Saints' Day, or All Hallows, which was a day to honor the saints on November 1st. This left October 31st as All Hallows' Eve, which, as you might have guessed, eventually became what we know today as Halloween. And so, Halloween evolved, absorbing elements from Roman and Christian traditions, and continued to be associated with the supernatural. An amalgamation of cultures, traditions, and beliefs, Halloween stands as a testament to the enduring fascination with life, death, and what lies beyond. But how did we get from these ancient rituals to the Halloween we know today? Well, let's delve into the transformation of these traditions. In Old England and Ireland, the end of October was still associated with the dead's wandering spirits. To appease these spirits, people laid out gifts of food. Over time, this practice evolved into something a little more familiar to us. People began dressing in eerie costumes and went begging for these treats themselves. This practice was known as mumming, and if you squint a little, you might see a resemblance to our modern trick-or-treating. Meanwhile, on the other side of the Atlantic, the first Halloween-like celebrations were taking root in the American colonies. These festivities included harvest events, ghost stories, and fortune-telling, a blend of the colonists' homegrown traditions and those of their homelands. In the 17th and 18th centuries, Halloween took on a romantic twist. Unmarried women performed rituals to find husbands. They bobbed for apples, threw apple peels over their shoulders, and even stood in dark rooms with lit candles, hoping to glimpse their future husbands' faces. By the mid-19th century, Irish immigrants brought with them customs like jack-o'-lanterns, originally carved not from pumpkins, but from turnips, potatoes, and beets. By the late 19th century, Halloween had transformed into a safer, more secular celebration, featuring parties, games, seasonal treats, and costumes, instead of focusing on witchcraft and mischief. From ancient Celtic rituals to modern-day parties, Halloween has truly evolved over the centuries, keeping its spirit alive through continual transformation.